What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome again to another episode of Tuffy Talk, and we got another exciting episode today because it's really just, again, another opportunity for another winner of one of our giveaways to appear with us, and again, just talk state stuff. And especially right now, there's a lot of good stuff going for NC State. Obviously, coming off of a huge win against Clemson. Right now there's a lot of excitement with women's basketball and swimming and diving and you name it. So I know we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. And so first of all, I want to welcome Tyler here with us, one of our winners of the giveaway. So Tyler, thank you so much for joining us here today, my friend.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. Glad to have you. So first of all, I want to kind of start off. So, kind of tell us a little bit about, where you're from, what your history is with NC State. Just kind of give an overview of yourself as a person, but also too as a State fan.
Okay. So I grew up in Western North Carolina. I was born and raised an NC State fan. My dad graduated in '76. So I've grown up coming to basketball games, football games. And it was kind of tough because where I grew up, there weren't really that many NC State fans. So I recruited my best friends. And so we've had our strong group of, diehard NC State fans. And I went to State, graduated high school in 2002 and went to State and pursued other things. I never finished, but, my love for the school is just, everybody that knows me knows that I'm a diehard State fan. So after the game Saturday, I was getting messages during the game and after the game, people didn't know if I was there or not, but they were assuming that I probably was. So
yeah,
it was awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that, especially for, it sounds like yourself, but also probably people like Macon and myself or whatever who, people will say, were you at the game on Saturday? It's like, you think we would be anywhere else than be there for that game with that opportunity to beat Clemson? We wouldn't miss that for anything. So, no. So what was your –
I actually have a wedding. I have a wedding coming up I'm supposed to go to. It's the same day as the Louisville game, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get out of that. But it's gonna depend on the time of how I can juggle this thing. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like with the Louisville game. The game will depend a lot on which Malik Cunningham you get. So, if you get the not so great Malik Cunningham, it might not be that great of a game. But if you do get the good Malik Cunningham, it might be a close game. So it's kind of like a 50-50 shot. And if it's worth, trying to jump through hoops, to make happen. So, so want to kind of, just give us like your initial thoughts of the Clemson game. Obviously, huge win for sure. But maybe even kind of take a step back too. So maybe before the Clemson game had started, what was your kind of take on Doeren? Were you sold on Doeren before the Clemson game, and this maybe kind of sold you a little bit, or were you already kind of on the Doeren train?
When I was talking to these guys last week, I love Coach Doeren. I love his coaching philosophy. I love his recruiting philosophy. I like the way that he teaches. When you listen to him in his press conferences, he sounds like a professor. He is just very detailed with, the terminology that he uses. But we've really struggled to really have these major wins. And, I felt like this was a must-win game for us because we've been so close. And, there was a lot of grumblings from the fan base after the Mississippi State loss. And, I don't think they would have fired him after that, but I think he really needed this one to kind of galvanize the fan base to really show like it's working. The process is working itself out. And, we haven't had that proof of it. I felt like it was there. You see these recruits that we're bringing in, they're high character kids. They're, quality football players, but the wins haven't really been there. And so I was kind of torn on it. I really like him. I'm been holding out for it, but we needed something to really prove that we were getting over it because we've been so close. It felt like 2016 again, where we felt like we were building to something else, and then we had that letdown, and it's like it felt like it set us back, and we needed something to just kind of a catalyst to shoot us up and, recruiting and for the excitement within the program. And
Well,
I knew we could do it, but I wasn't sure.
Well, because one thing over the weekend which really stood out to me that kind of I look at as kind of an example of maybe what state was in 2016 was look at Auburn. This past week. So the week before they lost to Penn State, it was a tough game, a really back and forth game. It was close, and then they lost, and then they went up and lost to Georgia State. You kind of see that. That obviously that Penn State game lingered, and it obviously held on to
Right.
them. So I kind of look at that and I go, hey, with NC State, we're kind of through that phase, hopefully now we're again, because every single year, if you kind of group years together, you kind of see the progression and it's getting better and better and better. So, I'm definitely in agreement, but yeah, I definitely think that I agree with you that having this major win is just basically just to sell all fans that Dorn's our guy for long term.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Right. And I think it kind of proves you still kind of have the haters from the outside that are going to try to minimize what we did. But, I think it kind of, proves to everyone else too, like, okay, these boys, they are for real. That was a fluke. That was, an outlier. That's not going to be who this team really is. So,
yeah, because everybody's talking about how bad Clemson's offense is. And it's like, could it possibly be that maybe we just have a really good defense? I mean, is that a possibility?
Right.
I'll tell you what, that's bugged me.
Right.
It's like, it's not like you're playing like Pembroke or anything like that. It's,
Right.
you're playing like a team that's always has been pretty known to have a solid, pretty good football program. So I don't know why it's like this. Oh, well, like Paul Feinbaum was like, oh, let's all, I don't know if they're going to have a great, where's Clemson's program heading now? Like they're just going, like, that should to me to be just like an insult. Like, it's like, you really think we're that bad?
Well, they were winning national championships, winning AC championships all the way through last year and going to college football playoffs left and right. It's like, and again, I was kind of laughing with the Clemson fans going, are you going to fire Dabo Swinney? Like, do you want him fired now? Like, come on now. Seriously? Like, don't be questioning Dabo because of one bad season, okay? It's going to happen. It's going to happen, especially when you lose guys like Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, and you're having now as many injuries as they've had now, with Breesy being out for the season. It's going to be a tough road, but I think
I agree. You look at it too. They played Georgia, who has maybe the best defense in the country, and then they play Georgia Tech in a tight game, who actually may be better than what people thought that they were. They sure looked good Saturday night, and then our defense. So it's not like they're playing, bad teams either, and barely winning. So
that's true.
And they're loaded with 4- and 5-star recruits still. So
yes, they are. Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flightlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need, offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flightlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flightlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flightlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out. Yeah.
It was tough too last year, I think, because there was no crowd, and it really, I feel like it affected basketball, the experience more than it did football. And so hopefully that will, because PNC is a great environment when it's rocking, and
it's one of the best.
It was different when you can hear the ball dribbling. It just wasn't nearly as exciting.
Well,
that's a good point.
Well, especially too, like when you look at PNC and you look at, because you can see, especially when you're higher up, when you look at the basketball court, but then you see where the hockey arena is supposed to be, and when the Hurricanes played, Hurricanes are known as one of the loudest, environments in the NHL. So imagine having even more space and even more people packed in for a basketball game, which is, just thinking about it, it's like, there's no doubt that it can be one of the loudest and craziest environments in college basketball for sure. Again, and that's why Keats' system works so well. Because again, it runs off of momentum, it goes up and down the court. And what makes fans excited? Big plays, fast break, dunk it on them, let's go, plays like that. So it works perfectly with who we are and what we can offer. So, wanted to kind of ask, so what would you say is kind of your expectation this year? I mean, what are your kind of expectations here for Keys? What do you need to see from him and this team?
Yeah, like I said, I want to see us, win at least a few ACC tournament games and not be on the bubble. Like, we need to make it into the tournament and progress a little bit in there, because I think that we have the talent. I think the system works to do that, but it's just not. We've been, whether it's because of the strength of schedule in the past or for whatever reason, we're going to have to do it to where it's not left up to Joe Lenardi or whoever else gets to decide, what's going on. And, for us, we have to leave it, no questions about it.
Yeah, I agree.
And do you think at all that Keats's big loss to Virginia Tech, where he scored 30 points or something like that, do you think that's kind of always something in the back of state fans' heads that is kind of tough to kind of, it's even for me, it's kind of still a tough pill to swallow, because you see YouTube videos where it's literally called like the worst college basketball game of all time. And it's like, oh man, like, I hate being
it's like we were playing without a shot clock or something.
Right.
That's how high the score was. Yeah, that was embarrassing, and that sucks that type of stuff seems to happen to us, and we have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because we had to deal with going on other road trips and having the teams cheer for us when we made it into the 20s.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah.
Just I don't know what that was. Let's not talk about that anymore.
I mean, that was just like, it's unexplainable. You can't like go back and look at that film. You just have to throw it out.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But so now kind of talking a little bit, I know you kind of talked about kind of the how much turnover there is. So what are your kind of thoughts overall about the name, image, likeness stuff? I mean, what are your kind of impressions on it?
I wasn't really sure about it to begin with, but I mean, I'm not sure how it's going to go, moving forward. You look at how you get, for football, you end up with guys, the premier quarterbacks that they thought were going to be in the ACC, and those guys are not really producing right now. And so I think they're going to have to figure out a better way to do it. They're not going to be able to just go off preseason hype. I'm not mad that the kids are able to get paid for what they have going on, because they're bringing a lot of money to the universities, and there's perks that come along with it. Obviously, they get a free education and stuff, but they're still college kids, and there's a lot of money being made. I'm not mad at them for being able to get some of it too. So
I think that's a perfect way to state it. So I think we'll leave it at that for that. But the one thing though, which I do want to kind of try and see though, if I can get for you though. So I know you said you're big into basketball, big into football, but I mean, with wrestling, how dominant they are with women's basketball this year. I mean, can we sell you on maybe following them a little bit more closely this year? I mean, because I think especially for those two specifically, but with a lot of others, I think you're going to see something really special this year from those two programs.
I agree. I followed the women's basketball team a little bit, so it was really exciting to watch what they were doing. So I was really excited for them. It was good to see them at the game Saturday also. So
yeah.
And the wrestling is really dominant. I've not really been able to watch any of it, but I have followed, when, afterwards when they've been successful, just to kind of keep track of it. But so I really do need to do a better job of following those other sports too. Yeah. You got me there.
Yeah. Well, and just because, again, I mean, I truly do think, I mean, women's basketball, like that team last year that got a number 1 overall seed, won an ACC title, and I mean, definitely wasn't a great place to win a national championship. But with losing Kayla Jones, that was definitely a tough loss. I don't think we unfortunately were able to kind of find a way to beat Indiana without them. But I mean, you got all those players back, and then you got 2 big transfers in. So, and I mean, I just don't see how a national championship is not like the bar. I mean, honestly, I mean, like how, like with this team and how stacked they are, how can you not go win a national championship with what we did last year, beating South Carolina, getting a number 1 overall seed, and I mean, winning an ACC title.
Yeah.
How can you not set the national title and an ACC title as the bar? That's my thought.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same team and even better, really. Even better.
Definitely better.
Yeah.
Madison Hayes is going to be no joke.
Right.
So, but yeah, man. So, Macon, you got anything, brother?
No, I'm just thinking about more. Honestly, I'm still kind of thinking about the basketball team because tomorrow is the first official practice.
Yeah,
which I don't think. I think it always sneaks up on us. And man, I am kind of nervous for Keats a little bit going into it because he really needs to do some. He needs some success, and he's so likable. But he's probably NC State's probably going to be predicted to be like anywhere from 11 to 8, I think, preseason standings, and that's not getting it done. And he's a lot of young guys, but I really feel this is going to be a critical year for him. It's year 5. And it's a lot of young guys get excited about, and he's building it. But I mean, it's just really struggled. We've talked about this here before, but his best season was the very first season. And beyond that, it's been mediocre. You're at NC State, you don't get to stay around very long if you're like that. So,
yeah, I think Keats is good at connecting with people, especially younger people. Just if you've ever met him or been around him, you can tell that. And it's for him, it's really just about getting the most out of them, because I know he's like can talk with them and connect with them really well. It's just getting that talent out and putting it.
I'm gonna tell you what, though, when you look at the month of January on our schedule, it is kind of brutal. I mean, it's
the second half of January is tough. I was noticing that.
I mean, I'm looking at it. Florida State at home. Okay, you got Florida State at home, but they're one of the top 4 teams, in my opinion, in the conference. Virginia Tech at Blacksburg, and I'm shocked at how good they have been. I don't buy it a little bit, but they have been good at the same time. So that's tough. Clemson, okay, that's one you probably should get. But then Louisville on the road, Duke on the road. You get Virginia Tech back, so Virginia Tech's a tough matchup. Then you get Virginia, who is not going to be a cakewalk either. And I think Notre Dame is a team that's going to really be a lot better than they were last year because they had some critical injuries. It's going to be tough for State. The back end the back end of the ACC schedule is easier for them because they get the Georgia Techs, the Boston colleges. They get it's a little bit easier, but I don't know. I'm a little worried about the basketball team, the basketball program, I should say.
Well, I mean, you're in the ACC. I mean, it's kind of like that's what you're here for. The ACC is the premier conference in college basketball, no doubt about it. And so, it's kind of like with football, where everybody was like saying, football, man, what a tough schedule. And it's like, well, with a team this good, or with a team where you're looking to make some program changing, moments in the season, you want it to be tough. You want it to be challenging. And, especially with Keats, this is a big year for him. So, hey, go big or go home. Let's not make it any room for question of like, oh, you beat a bunch of cupcakes. Like, nope, this year you're going to have to beat some big teams.
But it is that way every year. But I'm just so concerned with, not so concerned. I'm kind of going off the rails here. I just think I am concerned with the roster being so young, and like, what happens if Helms gets injured? I mean, who you have? Like, he is the. If I'm a defense, I'm stopping Helms. I'm shutting him down. I'm daring C-Ron and Cam Hayes to be the guy, and I don't know if they're ready for it. Maybe they will be, but man, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a tough season, personally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but having said all that, I mean, there's a lot of youth there that they're going to build together going forward. And I mean, this playing time they had last season, the playing time they're going to have this season, I think it's going to be huge for the program moving
that's
forward,
definitely
because they're
gonna
going to be guys who
help.
play together for 3 years or so.
Yeah.
And that's going to be big. And I think I want to keep talking about next season when haven't even given this season a chance. But
Yeah.
I am nervous about it. I don't know what that's going to look like, and all I can base it off of is what we've seen in the past. And but man, I love me some basketball. I think I'm probably a bigger basketball fan at times than the average state fan, but I love basketball.
So, but one thing though, Tyler, and I'll ask you this question. So, what was your initial reaction when you heard Roy Williams retiring, and then when you heard about I'm totally blanking. Duke, Coach K,
Mike Krzyzewski.
I know.
Yeah.
How did I forget Coach K? And Coach K leaving. I mean, that's two big names like back to back that are announced that they are retiring. That's crazy.
About time. You know, I was
really
ready for it. Please,
that's all I need to
I'll
say.
help you pack, you know?
Yeah.
I'll help you pack. Let's go. I just feel like, you know, there's going to be a void to fill there, and they're going to have
a big
two
void.
guys coming in that are inexperienced, and it's, you know, we have an opportunity here, so, you know, let's get it. They're going to try and keep their train going with, you know, legacy coaches there and stuff too, but we have an opportunity, and so, you know, I hope we're ready. That's why I was surprised too that guys wanted to transfer out, because, you know, it just seemed like we could, you know, really take the time to own the triangle now without these veteran coaches there.
Yeah.
So we'll see. To be determined, though.
Yep. To be determined. So one kind of final question is, so what is your favorite spot on campus? You know, I know when we had our last giveaway winner, he had said he had mentioned Harrelson Hall, which, love Harrelson Hall and definitely miss it for sure. But I mean, I think that they still have made the Brickyard look absolutely beautiful. So want to kind of get your thoughts overall.
And I always liked Carmichael Gymnasium, because there was just so many different things that you could do there, and, you know, exercise, rec, and I stayed in Owen Hall, so it was just right across the road.
Perfect.
And so we would go there all the time and play ball and, you know, work out. And I always tried to sign up for as many PE courses as I could, archery, and, you know, bowling wasn't in Carmichael.
There you go.
Yeah.
I took bowling.
I always wanted to take those electives. So
but
it's fun.
But I mean, have you been to Carmichael since they had all the renovations?
I have not.
Yeah.
Dude,
no, I haven't.
I haven't seen either, but the pictures
It's crazy.
look nice. If you haven't seen the pictures, go Google it.
Beautiful.
It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's overdue. I mean, again, Carmichael was great, but, you know, it needed a little bit of a facelift.
Think about what they've done to the student union, about Tally. Think what they do with the Tally student union, and then think about it for a gym.
Yeah. It's really
nice.
Really nice looking, really fresh. So, you know, and again, I mean,
nice. I'll look into that.
And you pepper that in with like Hunt Library on Centennial as being one of the premier college libraries in the country, if not the world. And I mean, again, there's no doubt State's campus is looking better and better every single time you look. So, which is, you know, hey, it's great, because, you know, you could go look, you know, across the river to UNC and go and see them all packed in there like sardines with their campus. And it's like, sure, I'll take the nice spread out, fresh air, you know, brick as far as the eye can see. Hey, that's all right. We love our brick. That's all right.
Right.
So,
right. That's right.
We'll take stubbing our toe and tripping on them once ever so often, and, you know, any day. So, well, thank you all so much again for tuning in.
For sure.
Please make sure, again, if you haven't already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Please follow us at Tuffy Talk Now. Again, as we're always doing giveaways, talking NC State things, doing updates, so make sure to follow us there. Please make sure to like this video. If you enjoyed this video, check out all of our great NC State content, and make sure to, again, just have a great week, and thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, go Pack, y'all.